السلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه رسول الله أجمعين. بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, ini kita we talk about discuss about the present perfect and the past perfect. This is for the mankind to help them on for the bad for the bad habits of the mankind. This is to help them to come all for the good mankind world. And this is present perfect and the past past perfect, present perfect, and past perfect. The past participle regular verbs finish arrives listen past simple past finish arrive past participle finish arrive present participle finishing arriving regular verb see it make sing go see to be a sound sing seeing eat eaten eating made making sang some singing when on going. English verbs have four principal forms: the single form, simple past, past participle, present participle with the ing, present participle with the ing, past participle with the usually with the irregular verb and by ed. The present participle is used in the present perfect tense, and the past perfect tense, the past participle of regular verb is the same as the simple past form. Move and in ed. See appendix 1 for the list of irregular verbs. Form of present perfect. Form of present perfect statement: I have finished my work. The basic form of the present perfect has plus past participle. Past participle here is finish. I have finished. I have finished. I have finished. Finish is the past participle and the ad. My work. I have finished my work. I have finished my work. I finished my work. Contraction with have and has. I have eaten. You have eaten. You have eaten. Has. Had. It's eaten. Negative. I have not finished my work. Make a sentence negative sentence. I have not finished. I have not finished my work. And have as in as not as question. How long? Question word helping verb subject and verb. In the question, the helping verb have or has precedes the subject. How long have you finished your work? How long have you finished? Have you finished your work? Have you finished is the have or has preceded by subject. Have or has preceded the subject. Precedes the subject. Have you seen the movie? Yes, I have. The helping verb have or has is used in the short answer to yes or no question. Yes or no question. Using the present perfect. Jim has already eaten lunch and hasn't eaten lunch yet. Have you ever eaten at the restaurant? The present perfect examples express activities. The present perfect expresses activities or situations that occur or did not occur before now. Some unspecific time in the past, some unspecific time in the past. So the present perfect expresses activities or situations that occur or did not occur before now. Before now, I have eaten at the restaurant many times. The present perfect often expresses activities that were repeated several or many times in the past. The exact times are unspecified. I have eaten at the restaurant many times. I have flown in an airplane many times. It has rained 3 times so far this week. So the present perfect often express the present perfect often express activities that were repeated several or many times in the past. Alice has lived in the city since 1980. Alice has lived in the city since 1980. I have known Bob for 10 years. I have known Bob for 10 years. Mean that when the present perfect is used with since or for, it expresses a situation that began in the past and continues to the present. When the present perfect is used with since or for, with since or for, it expresses a situation that began in the past and continues to the present happen began in the past and continues to the present began in the past and continues to the present. When I repeat, when the present perfect is used with since or for, it expresses a situation that began in the past and continues to the present. Alice has lived in this country since 1980. Used ever in the question, used many times, several times, a couple of times, once in my lifetime, never in the complete sentence. Never has the same usual position as frequently verbs. With the present perfect, never comes between the helping verb have or has and the main verb. And this question ever means in your lifetime and any times in your lifetime before now. I've been in Europe many times. The present perfect express an activity that occurred and especially times in the past. I've been in Europe many times. I've been Europe many times. I've been in Europe many times. I have been in Europe several times. I was in Europe last year. The simple past expresses an activity that occurred a specific time or times in the past. Using since and for. Using since and for. I've been here since 8 o'clock. Sin is followed by the mention of specific point in time, an hour, a day, month, a year, etc. Sin expresses the idea that an activity began a specific time in the past and continues to the present. The present perfect also expresses the idea that an activity began in the past and continues to the present. The present perfect is used in sentence with since in sentence with sin. We use present perfect. Incorrect. I'm living here since May. I'm is incorrect. I'm living here since May. It is incorrect. Incorrect. I live here since May. Incorrect. I live here since May. Correct. I have lived here since May. Correct. I have lived here. The correct sentence. I have lived here since May. Main cause since cause. I've lived here since I was child. Al has met many people since he came here. Since may also introduce a time clause. Subject and verb may follow since. Notice in the example, the present verb is used to mean in the main clause. The simple past is used in the since clause. I've been here for 10 minutes. I have been here for 10 minutes. For is followed by the mention of length of time. Length of time. 2 minutes, 3 hours, 4 days, 5 weeks, etc. So 4 is for. I've been here for 10 minutes. I have been here for 10 minutes. I have been here for 10 minutes. For is followed by the mention of length of time. Length of time. 2 minutes, 3 hours, 4 days, for example. I lived here for 2 years. I moved here 2 years ago, and I still live here. I lived in Chicago for 2 years. I don't live in Chicago. Blah, blah, blah. Chicago now. The use of present perfect in a sentence with four plus length of time means that action began in the past and goes to the present. The use of in the simple past means the use of the present perfect in a sentence with four and a long plus length of time means that action began in the past and continues to the present and move here 2 years ago. The use of simple past means that the action began and end in the past. I live in Chicago for the years. I don't live in Chicago now. I live, example, I live in Chicago for 2 years with the past simple past. I don't live in Chicago now. Means the ended in the past. No, so he, I don't live anymore in Chicago. Forms of the present perfect progressive. Forms of the present perfect progressive. That is, I have been living, have been living, have or has, plus been plus in. I have been living here since January. Forms of the present perfect progressive has plus been plus in. How long have you been living here? Question: how long have you been here, living here? Has street has plus subject has been plus in. Using the present progressive, using how you to use the present perfect progressive. Compare the present progressive and the present perfect progressive. Progressive. I'm sitting in the class right now. The present progressive expresses an activity that is in progress. That is in progress. That is in progress happening right now. That is in progress action. But present perfect progressive. I've been sitting in class since 9 o'clock for 45 minutes. The present perfect progressive express the duration, the length of time of an activity is in progress. Time expression with since or for are usually used with the present perfect progress. I have been sitting in class since 9 o'clock. I've been I've been sitting in the class. I've been sitting in class. I've been sitting in class since 9 o'clock. Mid sentence adverb. Common mid sentence adverbs. Frequent one adverbs are mid sentence adverbs. The adverbs in the list frequently occur in the middle of a sentence. When these adverbs occur in the middle of a sentence, they are have special positions. See below. The adverbs with the asterisk of usually, often, frequently, generally, sometimes, occasionally. Some also occur the beginning or end of the sentence. Middle. I sometimes get up at I sometimes get up at 6:30. Beginning, sometimes I get up at 6:30 and I get up at 6:30 sometimes. There are verbs in the first ones without an asterisk running from the beginning or end of the sentence. Their usual position is in the middle of a sentence. April always. Statement. He always comes. He always. He always comes. He always comes to class mid sentences at verbs come in front of simple present and simple past perfect. Simple past perfect. She finally finished her work. They are always. He has. He was probably at home last night. Mid sentence adverb followed be. Mid sentence adverb followed be simple present and simple past. He was probably at home last night. They are always on time for class. They are always on time for class. They are always on time for class. I will always remember her. Mid sentence verb come between a helping verb and a main verb. I always remember her. I will always remember. I will always remember. Do you always eat breakfast? In a question, the adverb comes directly after the subject. Do you always eat breakfast? Did Tom finally finish his work? Is she usually on time for class? So in the question, the adverb comes directly after the subject. After the subject comes the adverb. She usually doesn't eat breakfast. I probably won't go. In negative sentence, most adverbs come in the front of the negative verb. She usually doesn't. It except always a neighbor. Always a neighbor follow a negative helping verb or a negative be. Correct. She never eats breakfast. Incorrect. She doesn't never. She never eats breakfast. She doesn't never eat breakfast. It's incorrect. She doesn't never. She doesn't never eat breakfast. It is incorrect. Negative adverbs seldom, rarely, hardly, ever, and never are not used with a negative verb. Mid sentence adverbs. Mid sentence adverb. So ever, always, almost always, usually, often, frequently, generally, sometimes, occasionally. Using already, yet, still, and anymore. Already, the mail came an hour ago. The mail is already here. Idea of already sometimes happened before now, before this time, position mid sentence. This the mail is already here. The mail is already here. The mail is already here. Idea of already sometimes happened before now, before this time, position mid sentence. Yet I expect the mail an hour ago, but it hasn't come yet. Idea of yet sometimes did not happen before now, up to this time, but it may happen in the future. Position yet is in the end of sentence. Yet position is in the end of the sentence. So the position of still. I was cold yesterday. It is still cold today. It is still cold today. It is still. The idea of still is a situation continues to exist from past to present without change. Position mid sentence. Anymore. I live in Chicago 2 years ago, but then I moved to another city. I don't live in Chicago anymore. Anymore. Idea of anymore. A past situation does not continue to exist at present. The past situation has changed position and of the sentence anymore and end of sentence. Already is used affirmative sentence. Yet is anymore. Yet anymore are used in negative sentence. Still is used in affirmative or negative sentence. In negative sentence, still and yet express similar meanings. The meanings and I haven't finished it yet, and I still haven't finished it, it are similar. That is the use of the using already, yet, still, and anymore. Yet is the uh, already is in the mid sentence, yet in the end of sentence. Uh, Still is a mid sentence, anymore is end of sentence. And then form of the past perfect, affirmative. I had eaten. I contraction I negative had not hadn't from the past perfect had plus past participle using the past perfect. Present perfect. I'm not hungry now. I have already eaten. The present perfect express present perfect express an activity that occurred before now, and unspecified time in the past. I was not hungry at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. I had already eaten. The past perfect express an activity that occurred before another time in the past. I ate noon. I was not hungry at 1 p.m. because I had already eaten before 1 p.m. Compare the past progressive and the past perfect. I was eating when Bob came. The past progressive expressed an activity that was good in progress, that was in progress, and at particular time in the past. In C, I began to eat at noon. Bob came at noon 10. My meal was in the progressive when Bob came. I had eaten when Bob came. The past perfect express I had eaten. HAD express an activity that was complete before a particular time in the past. I had at noon. Bob came at 1 p.m. My meal was complete before Bob came. I had eaten when Bob came. I had eaten when Bob came. I was eating when Bob came. I was eating when Bob came. Chapter. That is all for this now. Uh, I hope this is useful for us. Thank you very much for your kindness.